The U.S. Mexico border, believe it or not, is the deadliest land migration route in the world. Data from the United Nations Migration Agency shows that more than 1,400 migrants died or went missing last year alone. Nearly 700 of those deaths or disappearances were migrants who were trying the dangerous journey from the U.S. Into Mexico, into the U.S. from Mexico. NewsNation is on the ground in the outskirts of Tijuana, Mexico, where the bodies of 6 migrants have been found in just the past 2 weeks. The grim discoveries are raising alarms about those cartels who extort money from migrants. NewsNation correspondent Jorge Ventura is live at the border in San Diego with more. Jorge, basically these migrants are being told by these cartels, pay up or you die.
It's a terrifying situation right now, Elizabeth, and the issue with Tijuana right now is that you have a battle between 2 different cartels. Cartel Sinaloa and then Cartel Jalisco New Generation that are trying to make as much money as they can smuggling humans. And right now, there's armed narco coyotes killing migrants for not paying a tax to cross into the U.S. and sometimes killing those migrants if they pay the wrong cartel. Mexican officials in Tijuana tell me they've never seen this amount of migrant deaths on their border. It's a normal day for Eddie Carrillo, digging and searching for his son Eric, who went missing in Mexico 4 years ago. 90% of missing person cases go unsolved in Mexico. Since he started a volunteer search group, they discovered over 1,000 dead people and people who were still alive.
Mi motivación es buscar y encontrar a mi hijo Eddie Carrillo.
We are in the rural areas of Rosarito here in Mexico on the Tijuana border, and we joined a volunteer group whose main goal is to find dead Mexican nationals who have been buried and have not been discovered. But now for the first time, these groups are finding dead migrants here on the border. Eddie's searching group made the gruesome discovery on the Tijuana border of 4 dead migrants. They were all males who were killed by an armed human smuggler execution style after the smuggler discovered that migrants did not pay a tax to the cartels to cross into the United States, according to Mexican authorities. Here were already physically 4 people who were there and were executed. It caught my attention a lot. They asked me how I looked at the situation. What I looked at, their clothing, was they were wearing shirts, camouflage, as not to be detected by immigration or the helicopter. Mexican authorities recovered the bodies and were shocked to see the violence being carried out by cartels. Gunning down migrants who don't pay them is a new tactic. We spoke with an expert who has been studying organized crime and smuggling in Tijuana for years. He calls them narco coyotes.
Those that are linked to the drug organizations, those are using guns, are using machines, they are killing people, they are committing atrocities with migrants.
Cartel Sinaloa and Cartel Jalisco New Generation are battling for drug and human smuggling territory, leading to the killing of migrants who don't pay a crossing fee. Even migrants who pay the crossing fee to the wrong cartel are being murdered. In the neighboring city of Tecate, a group of migrants were injured by gunfire, killing a female migrant. Another male was injured in the shooting and was rescued by authorities. He told them he was a migrant, but was actually a human smuggler. He was released and killed within 2 hours by a rival smuggling group on the streets of Tecate.
Falleció una persona de 18 años.
An 8-year-old person died as a result of the same event. This homicide was seen after they were already rescued. One of the same young men that we rescued and the group identified as a guide who has been taking them to the neighboring country. Hours later, he was killed by a gunshot wound. And unfortunately, Mexican officials do tell me they expect more migrant deaths by gunfire as hundreds to thousands continue to arrive to Tijuana to cross into San Diego. Then you have these 2 criminal groups fighting over that human smuggling profits, Elizabeth.
Like it couldn't get any more chaotic and more dangerous and more violent. Wow. Jorge Ventura, thanks so much. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.